story of the year probably is the beginning of the construction of the $80 million detention center. I know you and council and the sheriff have been working on it for a long time. Are you pleased with the outcome and how things are going?
Very pleased with Vanoy, the company that's doing it. They are right on schedule, if not somewhat ahead of schedule. And if you go by there, usually you see 40 or 50 people out there working every day. They're actually starting to go vertical, so we're very pleased with that. So that's going wonderfully well.
And it can have an impact for Anderson County beyond just having a place to put people they arrest, right?
Well, it absolutely can, but again, not to keep repeating myself, but it's going to have services. We're going to have room to offer services for outside groups who want to come in and help people in the detention facility. We've already gotten additional grants and services out there to help people with psychological issues, so we have that going on, but we're going to have room to do that. And also, we're going to have our own juvenile detention facility here in Anderson, which is good, which means we don't send 2 deputies 2 hours down the road and back, so we're excited about that. It's going to have a lot of ripple effects all across the community.
And I guess weather was the second biggest story, maybe. It started with cold weather, then we had those wind shears rip through downtown in May, and then the hurricane in September. How did these storms challenge the resources and manpower of the county?
Well, I can tell you that it was, for about 2 weeks, it was all hands on deck. And for the first week, it was 24 hours a day. Now, naturally, Sheriff's Department works 24 hours a day, but that's the first time that we've ever had our roads and bridges and facilities people out working 24 hours a day and trying to clear roads, repair buildings, fix everything, and make things passable. So it was very intense, and I'm so proud of all the people who work for Anderson County, because every last one of them worked as hard as they could without complaint, and they were taking care of their neighbors. And I've heard so many nice comments about how friendly they were, even at 2 o'clock in the morning when they were pulling a tree out so you could get out. I also appreciate a lot of other groups, Southern Baptist groups that came in and helped us, and numerous volunteers who came from all across the state to help us, a lot of them from the Low Country and the Midlands, because we have always been the county that will go down and assist in times of an emergency. So they were Johnny on the spot to come help Anderson County when they could. So it was a great united effort. Thank Matt Hogan, Jonathan Fox, whole lot of people out there who really put their heart and soul into making sure Anderson County got back up and running in a quick period of time.
And there's still some stuff going on with that.
Oh, we're still picking up debris every day. It will be coming to an end pretty soon, so if you have some debris, you need to get it out on the road now, not tomorrow. You need to get it out on the road as fast as you humanly can. And
people are asking, how are they deciding which areas to get first?
The company divided the county up into quadrants, and those trucks, 55 of them, are just making continuous loops through every part of Anderson County. But you need to get your stuff into the right-of-way as fast as you can. And if you are unable to get it in the right-of-way because right-of-way doesn't exist, call the number. It's on our website, and they will tell you what they can do to help you. So you need to get it done now.
And if people have had debris out a long time, should they be worried, or is it just still coming to pick
No,
up?
they shouldn't be worried, but they should call that number. It will be available for them to call.
All right, let's talk about roads. The referendum that asked voters for a 1 penny sales tax to fund roads, bridges repair narrowly failed in November. Do you think most citizens had a good understanding of the challenges facing the roads?
I don't think enough did, but we were gratified that it was as close as it was. Greenville had one at the same time. We were closer than just about anybody else. Now, of course, in Greenwood, South Carolina, theirs passed again, but theirs was roads plus other amenities in there. And so council, starting in January, will be looking at ways to address this situation on what they can do, and possibly just have one referendum question, because if you remember, the authorization to borrow money passed.
Right.
But the first part didn't pass. So was there some confusion? I believe there was some confusion, but I think most people want to fix the roads in Anderson County, and we're going to continue until we find a solution that's agreeable to the majority of people in Anderson County. That's what council's goal is.
But the authorization for bonds was dependent on the other one passing.
The other one
you
passed.
Can't do a bond.
You can't do a bond because you don't have any way to pay it back.
What did the Rock This Country or Rock the Country concert do for the Civic Center and for Anderson?
Well, it went so well that they decided to come back another year with another fantastic lineup. It put a lot of money in local merchants' pockets. I know the people in the hotel and motel business did very, very well. A lot of public workers, and they were paid by the company that put on the concert. These were off-duty officers and off-duty personnel, so I know that they got to make some extra money. And at the end of the day, everything said and done, they put everything back just like they found it. They paid to do that, and we ended up making close to $200,000. I may be a little off on that in profit that we got. So we've learned a lot, they've learned a lot, and we want to make it bigger, better, and more spectacular. It also put us on the national stage that we can host something like this, and we're already having people reach out wanting to put on more events, and there will be more events at the Civic Center this year. Christmas season, things are slowing down a little bit in that part of the world, but yeah, we're going to have some very exciting things, some new and different things that we haven't had in the past.
And we got Dolly Cooper, Hurricane Springs, and other parks have had a lot of additions and improvements. Anything significant you want to mention about those two or any of the others?
Well, we're going to be fixing the Hurricane Springs Park. Council's very excited about that. We've added new things at Dolly Cooper. We're still under construction of the pickleball courts, the Piedmont Park, the approximately 30-acre site over there. We're going to be hopefully doing some major work there with grant money.
That part people have forgotten about.
They've forgotten
a nature
about
preserve, basically.
But they won't forget about it soon, because you're going to be right smack dab in a major urban area, but you're going to have a space on the river where you can go commune with nature if you want to, and we're excited about that.
Will there be a grand opening or anything for that?
We'll have a ribbon cutting on that. We're also helping the people in Piedmont with some work around the dam, because that's where our park is, doing things like that. If it would quit raining, we hope to have the playground at the airport open before Christmas Day, and we're also hoping to have Kid Venture open before Christmas Day. This will be another phase of Kid Venture, and after that there will be another phase of Kid Venture, and then after that there will be another phase of Kid Venture. And we're also looking at some other parks that we're very interested in. Wellington's really one on my list that I really want us to put some heavy work into this year, and I think that that's going to happen. We've got some engineering going on now, so that's going to be better for all of us. Plus, you still have people working on trails in Anderson County, and city's doing a lot with parks. So recreation's really, opportunities are increasing every day in Anderson County.
And I think there's, if I counted right, 37 parks in Anderson County, something like that.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of them are just kind of open areas for the community.
And walking tracks and things like that, but they're kind of like neighborhood parks. And we also have worked out at least a park in Sandy Springs, so we'll be making some improvements there in that rapidly growing area.
And then the Saluda River Blue Trail continues to grow with new places on the river.
Continues to grow, and this year, the Rhythm on the River that the Powdersville Business Council puts on is going to join forces with the Saluda River Rally, so we're going to have one big day of activity. There'll be a whole lot going on at Dolly Cooper Park on that day. That's early in June. I don't know the exact date yet, but putting those two events together is really going to be nice. And in essence, it's going to be our celebrate that part of the world. So that's what we're looking to do.
Wow, that will be a big event.
Yes, it will be.
Then there's Hartwell Lake. What's some of the biggest news coming out of Green Pond this year?
Well, we just had a tournament, high school and college tournament the past weekend where everybody froze to death, but we had hundreds of boaters out there, and that was wonderful. We have other tournaments coming up, and in the not too distant future, we're excited about that, and it's continuing to grow, and we're already lining up grant money to make some further improvements out at Green Pond, so that's going to continue to grow. And like I said, we got some really big tournaments coming up. I thought the economy did real well in Anderson County in 2024. I know that we were ranked as one of the places with the lowest cost of living in the United States. Again, we didn't determine that. Outside people did. People are continuing to pour into Anderson County. And as a matter of fact, I saw an article in the Post and Courier the other day that more than half the people in South Carolina weren't born here. So there are a lot of people that are coming and wanting to be with us. So I think that says out good messages, but We're also working on some very excited economic development possibilities in the new year. We're working on them now. They won't come to fruition until the new year, but we may have our first international corporate headquarters, and I'm excited about that. And we have other companies that are going to expand, and we have people that are coming here, and we will be adding some more foreign flags to the landscape of Anderson County because we continue to attract a lot of international business, and we want to maintain that. We are getting ready to do some additional work out at the airport on runways to continue making that thing grow and blossom. So we just have a whole lot of things going on in Anderson County that, I mean, there's just something going on every second in some sector of the county. We're still working with Pendleton Clemson on that wastewater treatment plant, which is going to be more environmentally sound than it's ever been, using cutting edge technology. We're also upgrading all of our sewer systems in Anderson County. We're also making them more resilient in Anderson County. So just a lot of things that you don't see. Really thank our emergency services people on our new paramedic system. That's going wonderfully well, and get a lot of nice responses from that. And just a lot of good stuff going on, and more good stuff's going to continue to go on.
Do you have any idea how many jobs were added this year?
If I had to guess, I'd say at least 3,000, but they're more than that. A lot of these jobs.
New flag too. You mentioned flag.
Yeah, but well, we got the company from Finland is here, but a lot of these jobs come from small business and small operators, machine shops and things like that, and they seem to be doing quite well, and that's good for all of us.
And average salaries continue to rise?
Average salaries continue to rise, and we want them to continue to rise and outpace inflation. And we're almost there, but we're not there yet. Maybe this year will be the year that we really jack up our living wage. It's around $23 an hour right now. It really needs to be higher than that. That's why we're selective in which companies the county council wants to come to Anderson County. If you want to pay dirt wages, then you need to go somewhere else. We don't need you, and you won't be able to find anybody to work.
How about unemployment? Seems to be hovering between 4 and 4.5%. Is that about right?
That's about right.
Why do you think Anderson continues to be so attractive to international companies? Because it seems like every year we add a flag.
People in Anderson County are just good people, and they embrace these people, and these people embrace Anderson County like you wouldn't believe. And we also have a nice, educated workforce, and a lot of these new companies, when they come in, you can get on the ground floor and make a career there, and they know that. And our tech schools continue to put out a great, wonderful product. Our AIT really helping us in a lot of areas. Just everything working together is making everything come together. The engineering market, new engineering school, and I say new engineering school at Anderson University, is having a tremendous impact on Anderson County, and we know that some of our companies are reaching out to them, to those engineering graduates and faculty, say, hey, we need to be working together so we can get these people here. You got a whole lot of people that are graduating from that engineering program pretty soon, and they'll all be able to find a good job real close by.
When a company from Belgium or Finland or Sweden calls you, what are the first questions they have?
Usually it's about workforce, and right beside it is quality of life. They're not going somewhere where they can't get their executives to live, or they can't find a certain standard of qualified person. I mean, we've got Clemson University right here. We've got Anderson University right here. You got Tri-County Tech right here. Our vocational, or whatever system you want to call it these days, is putting out quality graduates, and they're getting good jobs. And so they know that we will take care of them from the minute they get here. But long after they're here, our economic development group continues to call on these companies to make sure they have everything they need and what we can continue to do for them. It's not cut the ribbon, you're on your own. It's a constant follow-up.
There seems to have been a pretty good bit of movement on mill sites this past year, around the county, especially in the smaller towns.
Well, we've received some nice money to actually begin work on Chicola Mill, and if certain state laws, I can finally get Equinox going, which is something that we've been working on going on 4 years now. And it would be there if they hadn't changed the housing tax credits for no good reason, which was the prime tool that people used to develop old mill sites. We're working very closely with Pelzer Heritage Group on developing those mill sites over there. We just want to revitalize each and every one. We're also on the Toxway site that the county owns. We have some exciting things that may be coming to pass there. So we're very involved in those. And I also will mention that thanks to members of our delegation, Senator Mike Gamble, we sent out last week the first 21 houses that we're going to demolish. Those bids will be out for 30 days, and that's just the tip of the iceberg on the number of condemned buildings that we can take down. A lot of them are scattered across the county. A good portion of them are in Honeypath this first go round. So hopefully in about 60 days, those things will be on the ground, and it will improve the neighborhoods and the areas around. So we've got that going on too. Our new codes enforcement group is working very hard, and they're doing a great job at making people clean up messes. And we'll probably be looking to tighten some laws on that. Right now, it's easier for cities to do that. It's a different set of state laws for the counties. We will be lobbying once again to have the same power that a city does. It will make it easier for us to clean up Anderson County. As you know, we have been removing illegal signs. We don't touch real estate signs. During political season, we don't touch political signs. But all of these other ones that you see, we buy houses, we're picking those up almost on a daily basis.
Are you optimistic about Equinox for the year ahead?
I'm optimistic about Equinox for the year ahead, but I have reasons to be optimistic, and I'm hoping something will move on that, at least within the next 5 months.
Paul's continues to, once they start to catch up, something else happens to sort of tidal wave them back into a facility full. Any news from Paul's this year?
It's just like you said, every time we catch up, then we find some people hoarding animals or not feeding animals, or have gone off and left animals. And so then we have to jump in and attack that. Our private donations to Paws, that continues to amaze me. And the number of people who bring dog food and cat food and blankets and everything out to Paws, which we need every last bit of it, continues to amaze me. A lot of our donation money goes to people who can't afford to feed their animals, but as you know, if you can't afford to feed your animal and you want to turn it in, then they will make sure that that animal has food. And it's just almost a full service thing, and they do a great job. Anderson Humane Society does a great job. And so we're all trying to work together to combat that problem. Spay and neuter is still the biggest answer, and people just taking care of animals.
The farmers market seemed to have another big crowded year, and now they got the holiday market going on. Is it going to outgrow the space it's in?
Well, you know, we're having to set up tents now and do things like that. So we'll be looking at that this year. Is it time to move it somewhere else? I don't know if that will happen, but we're going to have to make some accommodations because it continues to grow. And yes, the holiday market is going on right now with local vendors. So if you're looking for some unique Christmas gifts, handmade Christmas gifts, something good to eat, you need to go to the farmers market right here in Anderson. You need to come here.
Everything we're talking about from the year, this kind of revolves around funding. How's the county budget looking here at the mid-year point?
Oh, we're where we should be. We always run lean and mean since we haven't had a tax increase in 16 years, so we do run lean and mean. And we'll continue to do that, and we'll make it to the end of the year.
How close is the completion of the renovations and repairs of the historic courthouse here?
Not close. Not close. We still have a long ways to go. As you know, they're putting the roof tiles up. They're even beginning to put some of the copper back up. But it's still a long, laborious process. Because if you go up on top, you can pull a brick out and put it back in because the mortar is gone. So it's going to take a long time. Days like today don't help their progress, but we're very pleased with the contractor. They're doing great work. It's just tedious work.
We had another full year to evaluate the countywide EMS service. What grade would you give it today?
I'd give it an A+. It just seems to be working just wonderfully well and smooth and making a difference. And we're getting there, and we're providing expert care with paramedics and better than we could ever imagined. And again, it's still a model other people are looking at, and we're very pleased with it. Also, our partners at Priority, that seamless work is really smoothed out and going well. And God bless every person who works at the Anderson County Dispatch Office. Between that and the animal shelter, those are the two hardest jobs to do in Anderson County.
County Council continues to fine-tune development guidelines for subdivisions as housing continues to boom. It seems to be confusing and also dealing with regulations and everything else. Why is this so important and why is it so complicated?
Anderson County had good development regulations. Nobody has good development regulations for the growth that we're seeing that in Greenville, nowhere else. And so they're continuing to tweak it, not to stop growth, but to improve the quality of growth and its location and the safety of where a development is located. And when you come in, if a developer comes in, we have a checklist and they check all of those things on that checklist. They could get everything absolutely right on that checklist, but then it goes to the Planning Commission. And if all you had to do was check everything on that list, there would be no need for a Planning Commission. So the Planning Commission takes everything into consideration, and then they make their ruling. And I think that they take their time and do their due diligence on it, and some things pass and some don't. But these new regulations will make things a lot clearer on what you can do, like some of the things they're talking about, increasing setbacks and working with slopes to prevent water runoff. All of those things come into play, and we've also had interest from other areas that are wanting to zone. And as you know, Anderson County's zoning comes from the people up to county council. It's not imposed by county council. So we're seeing some of those people move around on that and probably have some more areas zoned this year.
Can council say, like, you got to have sidewalks? Is there certain things, can council say things like that, or is that too intrusive?
They can do things like that, but there's a thin line with, right now there's a housing shortage in Anderson County. There just is. Rents are through the roof, and companies who are coming in, not just all across the country, who actually go in and build subdivisions just to rent. But they want to increase the quality of what's being built and make it safety. We're doing that Safe Streets program that we got a grant to do. That's going to give us some more money, access to more money for roads, primarily for safety projects. So it all fits together. It's not just one thing, this thing. It's all of those things.
If back in January you could have seen how the year played out, would you be pleased at the way things worked out this year?
I would, because I'm very pleased that the jail's being built. I'm very pleased that this 126-year-old building's being fixed up. And I'm very pleased that the people that work for Anderson County got us through the hurricane. Very pleased with the direction that council has given us and the support they give us to do our jobs. People may take that for granted, but a good council who works together and they like each other and they can disagree, but they don't want to kill the other person, that means a lot. It really is a deliberative body, and they have a lot of talk, and they make great deal of effort to talk to citizens. So they're not sitting in some ivory tower. They're out just being regular people and hearing what the people are saying. So overall, the direction and guidance they give us and the things that we're allowed to do, I'm very pleased.
And you've got some new faces in the delegation?
New faces in the delegation. One of them is an old friend, Blake Sanders, from his time as the mayor of West Pelzer. And other ones we will get to meet, and look forward to working with everybody for the betterment of Anderson County.
Well, as we talk about the 2024 year in review, the county's 50-plus foot tree is visible from the window. And
Ain't 50.
54?
60.
Is it 60?
60-ish.
The platform really helped this year.
The platform helped a whole lot.
And it's a better system for the county, and everybody had that platform there, right?
Well, in the old days, we had to put plywood and all of that stuff. And I will tell you what, our facilities group, those guys who put that tree up, they take pride in it. They do a wonderful job. And if you think it's easy hanging off of a lift 60 feet up in the air, putting a star on there, wrong. I'm not going up there because I'm scared. But they get up there and they put that thing together, and it goes up so much quicker than it did in the past. Right. That new foundation really helps. It keeps the whole area around it cleaner. And I think we had the largest crowd that I've ever been privy to this year, because there were people as far as you could see, and everybody seemed to have a good time, although we were all freezing to death.
And the music is playing from the clock tower. I've heard a lot of people really it's a little bit louder this year. I think people really enjoyed it. I've heard a lot of good comments on it.
Yeah, people really enjoy that music coming out of the clock tower. Naturally, this year we play seasonal music. We'll play Christmas jazz. We'll play Frank Sinatra. We try to change it up so it's fresh every day. So people really do enjoy it.
And finally, January's almost here. Is there anything you want to talk about the first few weeks of 2025?
We'll be swearing in the new council person, Chris Sullivan, so we'll be doing that. And
He's been coming to council meetings. He's been getting involved in council for a while.
well, he's always been involved in different things in Anderson County. He's chairman of the Inspirabilities Board, and he's been involved with several other organizations, Imagine Anderson, but he's been coming to county council meetings, and he's been attending other meetings, and he's doing his homework. So I think it's going to be almost seamless for him when he comes in, because he's already met with all the department heads, so he's not walking in, blind, and all the other council people have reached out to him and welcomed him on, what can we do to help you thing. And he'll be going to an orientation this week put on by the Association of Counties about things like that, so it should be seamless.